How many times have you heard, if you find the deal, the money will show up? But what happens if that money's dirty? What happens if it's bad? What happens if the partner behind the money is just not a good person? We are going to hear about a business partner horror story. They do happen. We're going to hear from Dylan on this, man. How you doing?
I am doing good. I'm talking from Henderson, Nevada today. I'm on my way to Zion National Park, so excited to be here.
Oh man, wish I was there. One of my properties is in Henderson, so it would have been fun to
No
do
kidding.
this live. But next time, next time.
Yeah,
So
totally.
why don't we kind of do the setup, right? One of the things you're known for is you've raised over $3 million in what I'll call private money. Uh, there seems to be, well, you can talk about the deal. So what happened? You found the deal, you found the money, set it up, and then we'll get into the horror story.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of what we do is like we're really big in our market, and we post a lot, networking with other real estate investors, blah blah blah. Um, a lady reached out to us on either Facebook or Instagram, came into our office that she'd been following and resonating with our content for a little bit now. And she's like kind of more of a cowboy investor. She finds deals, does them herself. And so, she had this deal, it was a probate deal, and she came to us. No one else would partner with her. So she came to us because she thought that we would take care of her because we're pretty big about that. Um, and that's kind of how we got the lead. I do most of our underwriting and like acquisition side of our business. I felt like we needed to buy the deal about $30,000 cheaper than we did, but we really wanted to help this woman out. It sounded like she was newer and she needed a lot of help, and she had this deal teed up. So we decided to kind of go against her gut a little bit to help her out. So that's kind of the setup for it.
All right, so you had somebody bring you a deal, right?
Yeah,
That you did not know this person from Adam. They knew you, but you didn't know them.
yeah,
Is that fair?
yeah,
Your due diligence says okay deal, better 30K. Now, deals go in all sizes, right? 30K of a
yeah,
100K deal is 30%, but 30K of
yeah,
$1 million deal is nothing. So what was the
yeah,
price point on this?
yeah. So the resale price for it was just under 500,000.
Okay.
The profit was around like it was just under 10% of ARV, which my minimum usually is 10%.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right. So for whatever reason, maybe deals are slow or you have a good heart or whatever, you ink the deal.
Mhm.
Now you go through the process. It sounds like the remodel was kind of no big deal, but you get to the end and some paperwork causes a problem.
Yeah, well, so it actually kind of started. I'm glad you're shedding some light on it. It actually kind of started earlier than that. So
Okay.
uh, whenever we're like very generous in our partnerships, like we like helping people out. Like it's one of our core tenets of our business, and I think that's why we do a lot of business. So she brought us a deal. We come in, we front all of the money, we raise the money for this deal. We hire the contractors, and we have the listings on the back end. It's very like cut and dry. Most of the time, when people come to us with deals, they come to us because they know everything's gonna be taken care of, and we still give them a lot. The original split was 40% to her, 60% to us because we were doing everything,
Sure.
which seemed kind of fair.
Yeah.
She had a husband that was kind of out of work, and so we hired him to do some demo just to help out, paid him a couple grand, and he
Yep.
ended up completely fucking it up. Excuse my language, but completely messed some stuff up, and we ended up spending a few extra $1,000 to kind of redo his role.
You do a favor,
Um,
you get screwed, right?
yeah,
Dylan, that's what we call a sign. That's a sign,
yeah,
my friend.
100%, and it only continues to get worse. Throughout the rehab, she's questioning like all of our work throughout the rehab. We're overpaying for stuff, and we're hiring like legit contracts. She doesn't do any legit contracting work. She just does lipstick stuff.
Yeah.
So she she doesn't know how this works. So since we're overpaying, she doesn't think we're doing a good job. She's like saying this and
Oh,
that.
this is not
She's
going
giving us,
well. This is
yeah,
going bad.
going so bad. So she's just frustrating to work at. Where's my money? This kind of stuff, and it's kind of sprinkling. So we, about halfway through the project, we're getting frustrated. We say, "Hey, listen," and we present it out very nicely. Hey, we'll just pay you like 20 grand, just like kind of walk from the deal. This is before we're fully done with the renovation. Kind of one time offer. She didn't take it. No, that's not fair. She's thinking we're gonna make 80 grand or something crazy. So, anyways, we ended up going over budget. It happens. The roof
Yep.
costs more than we expected. We ended up going over about 20 grand.
Okay.
Which is pretty significant. It's not an insignificant amount.
No, that's a lot of the margin.
Totally. And and this is good for people that maybe if you haven't flipped before, if you've done a couple, once you kind of peel back the curtains of the house, a lot of times you'll notice that there's things that you didn't account for, which is why
That's
you
right.
need to buy with a significant amount of margin. So, anyways, we get to the kind of towards the end. She thinks she's just being crazy. We priced it at the price that she wanted, even though we told her not to. The house sat just like we said it would. We ended up running into appraisal issues, but she's just making everything so much harder than it needs to be.
Mhm.
And so we did the deal in probate. For whatever reason, they would not allow us to put our LLC in this deal in the beginning. The attorney wouldn't let us. We put our personal. All we need her to do is to sign a document that goes from our personal name into our LLC just for tax purposes. It does nothing else. It's a document she can sign for free. It does nothing to her. And she said, no, I won't do it. You have to pay me 25 grand. Now, at this point, we've gone over budget. We've ran into appraisal issues. The deal's only going to make 40. Mind you, what it didn't include, because we went over budget, we said, hey, this deal's making less money than we initially thought. We're going to bump you up from a 40% owner to a 50% owner. We want more money to get into your pocket because we feel bad
Right.
for going over budget.
Yeah.
And now she's
Again,
demanding
you're doing good stuff. Yep.
25 grand, which is now 80% of the deal. And I'm not stoked about that. We have a conversation, my dad and and I was like, I put my stakes in the ground. We'll just figure this out. We'll take the tax hit. And we'll split 50-50. She goes to the title company, goes to the city, starts saying we didn't pull permits, which is not true, but she's like, all this just nonsense. And so we're like,
Wow.
all right, we're going to just give you 25 grand and never doing business again together. And so, yeah, it was by far the hardest partnership I've ever had. And honestly, we've been very blessed with having good partnerships. This is the first one that's ever been like this, but I think
Well,
kind of
let's peel it back a little bit. So,
yeah.
you talk about having good relationships with partners, and again, that really goes back to you and your dad always defaulting to the partner wins. That's very clear in your business model. But if we really to step back, would it be fair to say you've had 20, 25, 30 partners at this point? I'm just trying to get a scale.
Yeah. I'd say that's fairly
All right,
accurate.
let's call it 25. And so you've had 24 wonderful experience and one horrible experience, rotten individual. Now let's try to find some nuggets to learn. When you think back, were there any signs before you inked the deal that this cowboy was going to be a problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I think there was a big rush and like desperation kind of from this.
Ding, ding, ding,
Uh,
ding. Yep.
yeah, that was number one. Number two, why did everyone else turn this person away?
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, these are the things I wrote down. Next time when everybody else passes, that's a red flag.
Yeah,
There's something there.
100%.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Totally. I think those were the two probably most alarming and definitely biggest ones for sure. We didn't really check any references or anything. So yeah, I think we could have just done a little bit more due diligence. And then where we kind of really went wrong, in my opinion, I mean, we still made money. Like we're in the green, but it was just more headache than it was worth.
It wasn't worth the headache. You would gladly turn that money over to not have the headache.
1,000%. The one thing I do wish that we would have done is I think that I wish that we would have stuck to our numbers a little bit more aggressively. We bought the deal about $30,000 higher than what I really felt confident.
And you listed it at high, it sounded like, as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a piece of advice that comes with maturity, with experience. And I think you're right there, you and your dad, is it's time to stick to your guns. In the beginning, when you've done 3, 4, 5, maybe you could lean towards, maybe we're off, but you've got 25 under your belt now. I think you need to have more confidence. I think you need to stick to your thresholds. You indicated your threshold was 10%. This one was under. You just got to remember why you have those and not move. Because again, it's a lot easier to deal with headaches if you're going to make 25 grand than 8 grand.
Yeah, totally. And I think where we just tend to and this is just a good learning curve for us. If it was a deal that was completely generated my own pipeline, I would not do the deal unless I'm at my number. And that's kind of where my skill set lies. But because we wanted to help this person out because we felt like she needed it, we were willing to kind of go against our guns.
Stop this feeling stuff, Dylan. What is this feeling stuff? Your generation and all these feelings, man. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, you got to learn that you've got to be disciplined. You have these rules. The rules that you have are protecting you.
Yeah.
And just because you feel for somebody, that doesn't mean give up your protection.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I think one thing as well too, learning from this lesson, um, is being very upfront and clear about expectations, like what we're doing in the partnership, what can happen in doing deals, right? Like you pull back the curtains and there's a significant thing that's going to happen. If they're not used to hiring contractors, like how our system usually works, to make sure that they know all our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And now, actually, moving forward, what we're adjusting in our model that's different per suggestion to our bookkeeper is when we do partnerships and we are raising all the money and we are doing all the rehab and stuff, to actually charge like a project management fee and then
There you
a
go.
funding fee to kind of add on top, because that definitely we
Little
tend
cushion.
to be over. We're very generous and we end up usually taking less of the pot than most of our partners.
No,
So
I think that's
good learning lesson in total. Yeah.
no. And again, it's called proof of concept, right? You got to get to proof of concept. You got to figure out where the scars and scabs are for yourself. And you're there now. You've earned it. You have a right for project management fee. You have a right to, funding fee or whatever you want to call it. I think these are all good things. You will be stronger for this. Again, folks, if we peel back the onion, if you got to trust your gut and protection, right? Because bad partnerships are just not worth. It's just not worth the money. You would give it up in a heartbeat not to have these. And Dylan, why don't you give us your closing thoughts, and then you can get on your road to Zion.
Yeah. I think I'll use a little bit of a different lens, a different frame.
Sure.
Stuff like this, bad deals, bad partnerships, bad things it's inevitably going to happen.
Just real quick, Dylan. That's number 5 on the ORAT rules. Bad things will happen. Learn and move on. That's number 5. I'm just saying. Some smart guy created this.
Yeah, I knew I liked you. Yeah, we have a lot of similar. It's funny on the last one, I think number 7. My number 7 was your number 7. I'm like, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think a lot of us look at, and this is really good for like newer investors, younger people, or young investors in general. If a lot of us, myself included, have rose-colored lenses on and we just expect things to go good, you have to realize that the pendulum is like the way life goes is like 50% really fucking cool and 50% yeah, like that just is what it is. You can't control the weather. The pendulum is always going to swing back one way or the other. I think where people go wrong is they allow when that pendulum swings back to the left, and it's in that like your rocky cut season. Yeah. They think like this sucks, but you have to realize like that's there for a reason, because if there was never any rain, we're not going to appreciate the sunshine. Like we need that duality. And so you have to realize like this is really good for you. Like this partnership was exhausting 100%, but like so many good things that come out of it in terms of what we're going to be doing for future partnerships and
that's awesome,
and things like that. And I would have never learned that had I not got my ass kicked. So yeah, that would be kind of my closing thought on that is learn what the lesson's trying to teach you.
Yeah, well, do me a favor, folks. Dylan's IG handle is on the screen, Dillionaire321. Send him a note on IG. Thank him for being the latest millionaire guest on the channel. He comes on every Tuesday. And he's also going to be one of the young investors talking at the ORAT event in Vegas. Him and Cody will be kicking off day 1 and day 2, really focusing on Gen Z, people that are doing it, people that aren't giving up. So many people out there have already given up, and I am tired of that nonsense. It is time to get wealthy. Dylan, thank you so much. Have fun and make some memories.
Awesome. Thank you.